customer flyer. When you first log into the computer, you want to double click on the Graphic Arts 1 server, go under Students, under Period 4, under your name, and make a new folder. Either right click or hit the system preference over here. It looks like a cogwheel. My new folder is going to be called Customer Flyer. And actually you want to make that so it's under Chapter 1. So if you grab the icon, you go right under Chapter 1. So there's your Customer Flyer. This is where you want to download your PDF. When it's in the Downloads folder, you want to drag it under Customer Flyer here before filling it out. Anytime you have a PDF, you want to make sure that with your PDF, and let's see if I can get mine open real fast. So if I go under my PDF, all PDFs are made in Adobe Acrobat. So when you save it from your Downloads folder in there, it should open up in Acrobat. So if you double click on it, it should say Acrobat in the upper right corner. If it does not, close it out, click on it, do Apple I or Command I on the icon, and then where it says Open With, choose Adobe Acrobat and make sure you change all so it always opens up Acrobat. So for the customer flyer, we're going to save it in here, and then all artwork that we want to use is also going to be saved in here. So first things first, I'm going to go get artwork. So I'm going to go to Safari. I'm going to go to Schools Clip Art, and if you don't have this open, if you click here, you can go under Favorites, and you can choose Schools Clip Art. The username is Wave 1 through 10, and the password's green. You want to make sure you're choosing clip art. Well, you can use all images, I don't care. You can even use JPEGs for this one. I prefer color, so if I do color, JPEG, EPS, and the first thing I want to find is a customer. So you can use photos. Oh, I changed it. Let's go back to that and search again. So I want to find a customer or somebody meeting with. You can use clip art or you can use photos, and then you just scroll through until you find a customer that you would like to use. I want to find a happy customer. So you find one that you want to have that's meeting with somebody, or it looks like they're looking over something on a desk. Because really that's usually what people do in the graphic communication. So like on a desk, over a desk. I'm trying to find the perfect one. And then I think I don't want photos. I think I want illustrations. So I've got 944 to look at. So I find one that I like. Like I said, I like to find happy customers. If I click on the image that I like, then you download AI EPS or JPEG. So EPS just goes right into my downloads folder, and then I'm going to close that out because I only want to use one of them. I don't want to use all of them. Also, other images I'm going to find. You have advertisements or direct mails. So advertisements, you can search in there and see if you find any advertisements, or direct mail. So a direct mail could be a postcard that gives an offer. So I'm going to download that. I'm also going to look for, besides advertisements, we need textbooks. So I'll close that down. I'm going to look for books. Find a book that I like to use, or a group of books that I like to use. You've got a lot to search for. Once you find a book that you want to use, you're going to download it. Actually, that one didn't look too bad. Now, keep going. Find your images. Trying to find what I like. But again, this is your call. You can choose for a certain type. That looks good. Textbooks. I'm going to download the EPS. encapsulated postscript. Next one I'm looking for is magazines. I'm just going to put in magazine, and it should find magazines. So when you find a magazine image that you would like to use, download the EPS. And then the last one that you're going to look for is going to be stationery or forms. So I'm going to do stationery. Stationery is anything from business card, letterhead, notepad, envelopes. It could be, let's see if we've got any cool looking stationery in here. And almost every company needs forms and stationery. They need to make sure that they have a business card that they give to a client. Let's see if we can find some good. Alright, so I'm just going to type in business card. Alright, now we've got some business cards. So I'm just going to click on. That looks like a credit card, not a business card. Sometimes it doesn't find exactly what you're looking for. So you got to be creative and look for it. Business card is what you hand to a client when you are ready. So like this one shows like a letterhead envelope slogan. So envelope is also what's used as stationery. So I'm going to download that. So I've got my 4 pieces of artwork. They're downloaded in Downloads folder. I'm opening the Downloads folder. I'm going to select my artwork and drag it into Customer Flyer folder. Then we're going to go open up Adobe Illustrator. Our flyer is going to be 8.5 by 11. You can do it either portrait or landscape. It does not make a difference to me. It's whatever way you want to make it look. So I'm going to hit Create New, and hopefully it'll come up soon. If your dimensions are not at 8.5 by 11, if not inches, you want to change it to inches. And then I want letter. And I want to do 8.5 by 11, so I'm going to do portrait, not landscape. And hit Create. Now we're going to go over a few things different than we've done in the past. Whenever you design something, you never go right to the edge. So when you bring this up, do Apple R. That brings up your ruler. And if you use your selection tool, which is the solid arrow, you can pull a guide. Guides don't print. 1/4 of an inch away from each edge. 1/4 of an inch is basically 2 of these lines, is 1/4 of an inch. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to drag it from the ruler. These blue lines will not print. Then we're going to go File, Save As. I want to save it in my folder on the server. So I'm going to call it Customer Flyer, and I'm going to put my initials after it. Go to the desktop, under Graphic Arts 1, under my period, and I'm going to save it under Customer Flyer, under Chapter 1. Now the first thing you might want to do is make sure you have your swatches and up. Does not make a difference. We don't need to make it a Pantone color. So if you're missing your swatches, your tools, or your control panel, the control panel is up here. Everything's located under Windows. So if I go under Windows, I can open up my swatches. That goes to my colors, shows all the colors I can use. First thing I want to do, I'm going to put a background in. So I'm going to use the rectangle frame tool, and I'm going to go from blue line to blue line. And up here shows fill. That's the fill color and the stroke color. So for my fill color, I want red, and I don't want a stroke color. Okay. Next, I'm going to use type. I'm just going to click with the type tool. I'm going to click and call it Customer Flyer. You can make it whatever typeface you want. You can make it left, right, centered, justified. It's your call. Those are your alignments for your type. And then you can choose your typeface you would like to use. There is a ton of different typefaces out there. Choose one you like Now my next one is to get the images in here. I'm going to minimize this, highlight my EPSs, and drag them into AI on the dock station. They should open up in a different tab all the way across. If you do not do it the right way, it will show a X in the box. So you want to make sure you open them by dragging them onto AI on the docking station. Then I'm going to find my first one that I want to use. Okay, so this shows the customers. It's the customers at the grocery store, but I'm going to use it anyways. Or I could use this one, about customers, a big sale. So I highlight it, what I want. See, I can pull that out. I'm using the hollow arrow, that's the selection tool. I'm going to copy it, Command C or Apple C, go to my customer flyer and paste it in. Okay. Now, I might take that typeface I just did and put it in here instead of out here. So I'm going to click on it and I bring it over, but it's behind it. So if you right click or go under Object, Arrange, you can bring it to front. I'm going to put it on 2 lines, and this time I'm going to move it over just a little bit. Now if you notice, there's a lot of space. This is called leading. So I don't want that much space. In Word, it's called spacing, single space, double space, and the actual real name for it is leading. So if you do Apple T, it opens up a type box, and it shows this is the size of my type, and this is my leading. And I want to make it go up a little bit more so it's not off the page. And the same thing goes, I can change the color of it, and I'm holding the Shift key to select everything. I'm going to group it and move it to the top. Whoop, I missed something. So I'm going to select all, group it, and then move it to the top. Okay, and I still like a little red border around it. Okay, and next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to explain what is graphic communications. So if you can do type, just clicking on type, but you can also do a type area tool. So that means that you can actually draw a box. So I'm going to click and, whoop, first I got to make a box. Right now it's just a red box, but if I use the click area type tool and I click in here, it will only type in this box. And for this, you only want like 2 different typefaces, so I'm going to use just Arial Bold, and we want to make sure it's automatic on your spacing. And then this is where you're going to put in what is the graphic communication industry. What is the graphic communication industry? You can even put the question in there, and then afterwards you're going to define it. You can make it bigger, your typeface, smaller, more spacing. You can change the color of it. I have a red background, so I will probably put it in there. So you're going to type out your definition or copy and paste it out of what you had. So I'm going to just do this. And this is where you're going to type in your definition. So for me, I want the definition a little smaller, and I want this a little bigger. So this would be like a subhead, and this would be the type. And we don't need to go that big. Okay. So I've got customer flyer. What is the graphic communication industry? And then I'm going to do 4 little boxes, or big boxes. So if I take and make a box the size that I want it, you can see there's a middle dot, so I know that if I make it smaller than this, then I can get all my information in there. So if I go like this, perfect. So this is my first box. I'm going to find the image of an advertisement. So I already did this one, right? I already did that one. I don't want to keep it. And then I've got to find my advertisement, which was, there's my advertisement. So I'm going to click on the advertisement, select all, If it's not grouped, go under Object, Group, or Apple G to group it. Go to your flyer and paste it in. Whoop. I guess I didn't copy it. Let's see. Apple C copies it, paste it in. Apple V, paste it in. And then make sure you hold the Shift key as you scale it down. So this is where you're going to put down, and I'm just going to duplicate this box. I'm going to hold the Option key and duplicate it. Go Arrange, Object, Arrange, Bring to Front, and change the typeface color to black. So I got to click on the Type tool, highlight it, and change the color to black. So this is what is an advertisement. And I'm going to make the box a little smaller. And this is where you're going to put the definition. So here you can also make the size of the type smaller altogether. And I'm going to do it. So it's going to be, what is an advertisement? Remember, you don't want it too small. That looks pretty big. And the smallest you should ever go to typeface is 9 point. So make sure you have that, and then you're going to type in the answer here. And it shouldn't be anything longer than maybe a sentence or two. So you're going to say, what is an advertisement? You're also going to, and you can use the same box for this if you would like. So I'm going to highlight this, copy it underneath that answer. I'm going to paste, and then I'm going to put down who uses it, what markets use it. And the answer goes there. And what's its purpose? Again, it should only be like a sentence for each one, so it should not take long to answer these. And then your next one, so I've got that there. I also want to put down, why is it valuable? Why is it valuable to a customer? And the answer goes there. Now here, everything, make sure there's space in between. I want to make sure it's automatic. I think that helps. And then I want to format it. I think it's under Windows, Type. Oh, is it? That was Type Paragraph Styles. Maybe it is paragraph. This shows you extra space. So what I'm doing is I'm going to add an extra space in between. So it breaks it up a little bit more. So it depends on where your image is, where your type is, what you're going to do with it. Make sure you put your information in there. So once I got one done, I can hold the Shift key, click on the type box with the selection tool, which is the hollow arrow, and click on the other box. Hold the Option key and I can duplicate it. And I can duplicate the Option key and I'm duplicating it, and Option key and I'm duplicating it. So I've got 4 different boxes. All I have to do is put the pictures in and the type. So the next one is going to be, we're done with that one. We'll click on magazines. Apple C copies it. I can close it out once I copy it. Go to my customer flyer, paste it in. And then I'm going to put down what are magazines. Now I do not like hyphens, so if you go right before magazine and do Shift Return, that's what's called a soft return. And then you want to make sure your image is in there. And then type your answers. go to, and I don't have to use all of these, I can use just one or the other, but I am going to use all of it because I kind of like it. Select all, Apple A, group it, Apple G, copy it, Apple C, and then paste it in, Apple V. Now you know how big it is, so hold the Shift key when you scale it down. Put it in the box, and this is what is forms and stationery. So what are forms and stationery? And then this last one's going to be what are textbooks. So I'm going to click on the last one, textbooks. Apple A selects all, Apple G groups it, and Apple C copies. Paste it in, hold the Shift key to scale, and put it in there. Once you finish typing everything out, you want to spell check. Spell check and save. So I'm going to do Apple S saved because I already saved it before. Spell check is Apple I and any of the Adobe programs, including Acrobat. And you hit the start, and Flyer, it says Flyer da 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 da. So I'm going to ignore all because that was correctly spelt. You're going to save in your folder, print it to the color cube, look at the rubric online, make sure it looks good. You have everything in there that you need. There's no misspells. All the graphics go with the information. And then you go File, Save As. We're going to do something different here. You're going to go to your desktop, under your period, under your name, and you're going to make a new folder, and we're going to call it Online Portfolio. And you're saving in here all your PDFs. So from here, I'm going to drag this to PDF. So it should be Customer Flyer with my initials, PDF, and I want to save it in my folder. We're going to do that at high quality print for every single assignment we design. That way we'll have a beautiful portfolio once we upload them. So that is it. When you're finished, upload the PDF and the form you filled out, step 1, to Schoology, and submit it.